just don't feel good about it. It's not that I don't appreciate your gift. It's just that... Have we started? Good evening, and welcome to Having a Drink with Mink. I'm your host, Jason Mink, and I was just talking to Larry here about his birthday gift. Now, like I said, I appreciate it. Larry gave me this mustache. I went to bed with a goatee. I think I'm going to have to confiscate your keys, bud. There's a line, and you crossed it. All right, well, thank you for joining us on this very special episode of Having a Drink with Mink. What's so special about it? Why, it's you, isn't it? Yes, it is, because you were all so kind and generous in wishing me a happy birthday. It was my 53rd, and I gotta say, it was one for the books. Absolutely, much better than my 52nd. As I told my boss, last year, I sat in a room. But it was great. I was wined, I was dined, I was given presents, and so many of you were kind and generous and reached out to me and said happy birthday, and you watched the video, and that meant the world to me because that's what it's really all about, watching the videos, enjoying that sense of community, sense of brotherhood. So cheers to you for joining us in this whole experience. All right, let's get right to it. Let me talk about a few of my birthday gifts. I wasn't able to show them in the birthday episode because, well, I shot that a little bit earlier than my birthday. It's funny how that works. But when it comes right down to it, I did get some fantastic stuff, and I wanted to talk to you about it right here and now. Check out my new Spidey shirt. This is a gift from my brother and sister-in-law. They know how much I like this kind of stuff, and, well, they know how badly I need a few new shirts, so they hooked me up with this. Not only that, but they gave me a new mug as well, because they saw the absolute horror show that I used in the last Craft and Curmudgeons video, and this features all your favorite Marvel characters. Well, maybe not all of them, there's only so much room on a mug, but not only that, but they went to the trouble of making me some stickers and magnets, and these aren't just any stickers and magnets, but they're personalized, don't you know? So check this out. I'm sure the Schultz estate will be on the phone with us soon enough. But my brother went through and he found a bunch of stuff that I liked, in particular little movie posters. We got Frank Zappa, we got In Like Flint, we got the Brain Mole from the Advanced Dungeons & Dragons Monster Manual. I used to wear this on a pin on my lapel. All the girls, well, they loved it. Yeah, they did. And what else? Well, there's me, of course. Always me. And some other good stuff. We got some Archie. And, of course, good old Charlie Brown. So these are fantastic. Thank you so very much, Dennis and Michelle. And not only did they gift me all of that, but they made it a point to give me my very own Flash figure. Viewers of the channel will have undoubtedly seen our Flash review, but that was produced using my brother's figure. So, thanks for the loaner. With the addition of the Flash, I really only need Wonder Woman and Supergirl to complete my Justice League, so I'm well pleased. Speaking of plastic people, today we're taking a look at the Marvel Select Rampaging Hulk. But before we do, let's consider how old Greenskin made it so far in the action figure game. Marx was the first company to take a pop at figural representations of the Marvel heroes. These were solid plastic molded figures released in a variety of colors, only occasionally matching the character in question. More on model were Mego's attempts, which sported unique cloth costumes over a basic body. However, as the Hulk featured a more muscular frame, Mego was forced to create new tooling to represent the character. Their investment proved worth it, as the Incredible Hulk television program made the character one of the company's most popular offerings. The Hulk also appeared in 12-inch form, as well as this fun-sized incarnation in the Pocket Heroes line. I loved this particular toy as a kid, as his compact nature allowed him to be taken just about anywhere. In the 1980s, up-and-coming company Toy Biz offered the first of what would turn out to be dozens of Hulk incarnations. As time went on, the articulation and paint applications improved, although the company continued to saddle Jade Jaws with all manner of action features which inhibited the toy's posability. While today's action figures are marketed more as collectibles than playthings, back then it was felt a figure needed to not only look good but to do something, leading to all manner of worthless junk. Toy Biz finally got the idea in 2001, releasing a highly articulated and hyper-detailed skull with no action features in Marvel Legends Series 1. As Hulk was the first figure from this line I managed to find at retail, I have fond memories of the guy dominating my toy displays of the time. However, if one Hulk was good, then two more would be even better, and Series 8 brought first appearance versions of the character in both gray and green. A few years later, fans received the Face-Off Hulk, who was the spitting image of his late 1970s counterpart. This was a great addition to the line and still remains in high demand today. When Hasbro took over the Marvel license, they kept the Hulk trainer rolling, issuing multiple versions of the character, although these grew increasingly less essential by degrees. Not content to let Hasbro make all the green, Marvel Select threw its oversized hat in the ring, producing a variety of Hulk figures in the company's own upsize scale. This included versions from the alternate Avengers Ultimates team, a couple few takes on the MCU incarnation, as well as a truly gruesome undead version from the Marvel Zombies series of comics. This is one that Marvel Select would do well to re-release, as it is now quite costly on the secondary market. Thing is, the company isn't too concerned about looking back if their rampaging Hulk is any indication. Released in 2021, this figure is a massive representation of the classic Hulk. No weird haircuts or spandex pants here. Instead, he sports his shredded purple slacks and not much else, but hey, are you gonna make him put on a shirt? Standing at a towering 10 inches tall and featuring 17 points of articulation, this big boy is truly impressive from a quality control standpoint. The plastic is solid throughout. No hollow torsos here. This gives Hulk considerable weight. I'm not joking when I say, if you were to drop him on your foot, you might just break a toe. But that's a good thing. At a price point of $29.95, this guy is a textbook example of value, especially with the larger Hasbro Marvel Legends offerings eclipsing the $30 mark. However, unlike those figures, this guy has received attention to detail the more mass-produced Legends lack. The additional green shading throughout the body makes the musculature pop, while the dark paint apps on the pants convey a sense of wear and distress. The paintwork on the face is also spot on, with the eyes being perfect. The teeth are a little chunky, but I'm guessing the Hulk isn't a big brusher, so I can let that slide. While there is the occasional bit of slop, the sheer scale of the figure makes it less noticeable. The hair is a separate piece glued onto the head, and the fit is seamless, so there's no problems there. The only real issue is how the purple of the pants covers the lower half of what should be the knee shin. The additional head allows for some variety, although it's pretty moment-specific and may not be everyone's cup of tea. The extra set of hands are more useful, allowing Hulk to grab offending objects and give them the smashing they so sorely deserve. All 17 points of articulation are solid. The elbows and knees are ratchets, sensible considering the amount of torque needed to pose the figure. It not only allows the Hulk to hold/lift just about any other figure, but to take some truly dynamic poses like this one-footed run. Out of the way, people, the man is coming through. Speaking of feet, check out the texture here. Every millimeter of this guy has detail, although at no time does it come across as too much. Marvel Select understood a figure this large needed to go that extra mile, and a smooth, unblemished set of arches just weren't going to cut it. In the end, this guy is an absolute winner, and you could take it from me. I know. And there it is, the Marvel Select Rampaging Hulk. He is pretty fantastic. Granted, he was released a couple of years ago, so finding one now might be a bit of a trick, but it's well worth it if you like the Hulk or you just want something iconic for your collection. He poses great with Mego, Marvel Legend, Marvel Select, those DC McFarlane figures, or he just looks awesome standing on your desk, protecting your laptop, coffee cup, whatever you got going on. Okay, let's get right into it. We have some paper here to take a look at. We're going to jump right in because it's a Hulktacular episode. And we begin with Tales to Astonish, number 95. Go, 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 Hulk! In a world he never made. And I think that he's either upset about what the High Evolutionary is doing to him here, or the placement of this date stamp here, not very aesthetically sympathetic. And then here's a book that just came out a few weeks ago. Well, actually, it came out a long time ago. It's the facsimile edition of The Incredible Hulk, number 1. Authentic, right down to the advertisements. Marvel even resisted the urge to recolor the Hulk green, sticking with the original gray palette. The story by Stan and Jack is an all-time classic, so what better comic to reproduce, I ask you? And on the back, here's Albert Dorn, and he's still looking for people who like to draw. From beyond the grave. Next up, and the Hulk has been shanghaied in space. Seems needlessly Eastern, but hey, alliteration is always a good start. Herb Trimpe illustrates this issue, and it's truly top-notch. His bold figure work and dynamic composition put the reader right there with the Hulk as he battles these weird fishbowl spaceships. Yowza! And here's this week's sound effect. Herbathum? Sounds like some backwater bride up in the hills somewhere. Dang it, Herbathum, I told you to leave the Sears catalog up in the shitter when I could read it. Issue number 114 sees both the Mandarin and the Sandman take a swat at some payback, although these two couldn't revenge their way out of a wet paper sack. Their attempts at trapping Hulk in a high-pressure vacuum backfire, with Sandman himself getting chumped. Instead of busting him into a million pieces and then selling him on QVC, Hulk lets his foe go. Misplaced sympathy, if I've ever seen it. Then Hulk is at the mercy of Maximus the Mad. Why he mad? Probably has a headache. I mean, that thing looks really uncomfortable. Following that, it's Earth versus the Green Behemoth. Who says comics don't build vocabulary? I mean, you're not going to learn that word on the sports ball field. Well, unless Howard Cosell is calling the game. And how about Jim Wilson finding this smashed up robot? Holy crud indeed! Issue number 154 guest stars Hank Pym, who'd returned to his Ant-Man persona, presumably because no one but Sal Buscema could draw Yellow Jacket's wings right. He gets mixed up with Hydra, plague-carrying rats, and a size 11 double wide that nearly punches his ticket. Better head back to the mansion, Hank. It's dangerous out here. Issue 155 sees old Jade Jaws tackle this Teutonic turd burglar in Blitzkrieg, 1972. Our tale begins with a subatomic banner plunging through space after the events of last issue. He reverts to normal size just in time to be target practice for some planes who soften him up for this cockeyed kraut. He's Captain Access, hero of the fatherland, and red pajama advocate. Get that man a pointy helmet, stat. And here I thought my love life was thorny. Seems things are even worse for old Bruce. Hate of the Harpy begins with the Hulk just trying to find a little peace and quiet, and if he has to wreck a few green cop cars, well, so be it. Meanwhile, in what may be the strangest booty call of the Bronze Age, a Starker's Betty Ross makes her way to a midnight rendezvous. Careful with that makeover, ladies. Sometimes you get more than you bargained for. Issue 169 sees an unusually pouty Hulk tackle the Bi-Beast, who is bigger, uglier, and far more chromatically challenged. He's two beasts in one, which seems like a good deal until your creator turns on you in the middle of a fight and you have to console yourself as the life slips from your pointy orange claws. That said, Skull Brother is a pretty badass concept. If you love Silver Age Marvel monsters, then the Hulk was the place to be in the early 1970s. I mean, these guys are strictly from Kirby. And as much as I'm about their unapologetically period designs, dig their crazy speech balloons. That's a degree of innovation that mainstream comics have sadly lost today. Issue 190 is near the end of the classic run of the Hulk, before the television show altered the trajectory of the character forever. We're treated to Hulk scrapping with a bear before running into Glorian, a Bowie-like illuminated Starman type who promises him peace but ultimately betrays the poor bastard to the Toadmen of all people. Talk about scraping the bottom of the barrel. Here's an issue of Submariner that we had to skip last week due to time considerations, but how could we at least not look in on Torg? After all, he's illustrated by no less than Blazin' Bill Everett, who was doing bang-up work on the title at the time. After entering into the suggestive-looking ice cave, Namor encounters the aforementioned Torg, aka the Abominable Snow King. Yeah, I am not calling you that, man. Now go find a hairbrush. Any card-carrying members of Foom here? Sadly, it was before my time, and I'm guessing, if given the choice, I would have just bought more comics with that money anyway. Sorry, Ben. No dice. Attention investors, Power Man 29 is the first appearance of Mr. Fish, so you'll want to be on the lookout for this undervalued key. Oh sure, it seems stupid now, but in a few years, when that Mr. Fish movie comes out, you can tell your wife you were right to drain the kid's college fund. Think, people. This was a dollar bin perennial back in the 1980s. Dealers were swimming in these. I'm not sure if there was an error while printing the issue or the world as a whole just said no to the Spider Squad, but I remember liking them okay. Hell, I'll take them over brain-hungry symbiotes and endless clones any day of the week. Giant-sized Spider-Man number 2 features the titular character teaming up with Shang-Chi, aka the Master of Kung Fu. The story begins with this ill-fated group of cosplayers, but readers soon get to the main event. And as compelling as that was, I was more entertained by the story in the back. This tale from Amazing Spider-Man Special number 3, where Webhead tackles no less than the Hulk to prove his bona fides to the Avengers. The story was actually better than I remember, with Spidey being in fine form throughout. Forget the Avengers. Those squareheads are a real buzzkill. What's more intimidating than battling this dead-eyed Edgar Winter type in the heart of Manhattan? Having a robot with your boss's face trying to kill you as well. J. Jonah Jameson's face on the Spider Slayer was a truly inspired choice. It's very disconcerting. And speaking of clones, here's the first sign of all that nonsense manifesting in the form of a smokestack corpse. As far as smoking goes, check out these lifelike billboards. Boy, those were the days. I'm guessing it was decided that Spidey needed a few more contemporary villains, and someone came up with Rocket Racer. I don't wish to be unkind, but this is pretty lame. It's not Flaming Hockey Player from Space lame, but it's pretty close. Happily, the issue ends with the return of the Molten Man, who's always good for a few laughs. Here he's about to go critical mass, and he wants to take Liz Allen with him. She's his sister's cousin's ex-wife or something, although in the end he only manages to take out a hospital. Some guy. Peter Parker, the spectacular Spider-Man 40, sees the Wallcrawler take it to the next level, going all lizard-like and jumping around the city, freaking out hard-working people. I like these mock headlines. It's always a cool way to tell a story. If I didn't know any better, I'd think a big chunk of Spidey's midsection had just been blown away, but we're helpfully informed it's just a smoke bomb. You say so, man. We wrap things up with Amazing Spider-Man 263 and Another Key, the debut of Ollie Osnick, the spectacular Spider Kid. I bought this issue off the newsstand and remember getting a kick out of it. Spidey had some offbeat stories in this era, and it fit well with what was happening. I also really enjoyed the artwork of Pittsburgh native Ron Frenz, who was drawing the book at the time. I've been trying to rebuild my Amazing Spider-Man collection, but it's obviously tough. But I had a couple good friends. They chipped in and they picked this up for me. So thank you very much, guys. This is very much a Grail piece for me. Not because I'm a big Venom fan, but just because this was kind of my reintroduction to comics as a younger man. This is Amazing Spider-Man number 252, introducing the new Spider-Man. That's right, before symbiotes, before, all the clone saga crap that came afterwards, you know what I mean? It was just like Spidey in a new suit, a new era, a new jumping on point. For me as a 15-year-old, I thought, great, I'm in like Flynn. And with the fantastic Ron Frenz artwork inside, I just was all about Amazing Spider-Man every month. I followed the book faithfully. And the funny thing is I dropped out just a few issues before Venom became a thing, missing out on all of those books. Ended up having to sell my copy of this, and obviously the price has gone up considerably. But like I said, a couple friends hooked me up with this, so thank you very much, Ken. Thank you very much, Charles. It means the world to me. This will go in a very special place in my collection, Amazing Spider-Man 252. The rumors are true. Right, well, thank you for joining us on this episode of Having a Drink with Mink. We truly appreciate it. If you like this episode, please give it a thumbs up. Maybe even share it on your page. Let your friends know what we're doing over here. We truly appreciate it. And if you're really excited about old guys who like old comics, let the world know with a t-shirt. Oh yeah, we got 'em, baby. Come on down, buy yourself a t-shirt, support the network, and, hey, put the good word out there. Until the next time, I'm Jason Mink. Cheers.